of Thando Thabethe, all when no topic is off limits. Now, when we think about marriages, most of us believe the story goes something like this. Boy meets girl, they start to date, fall in love, he pops the question, followed by an engagement, and then, of course, the wedding. But that's not always the way it works. I mean, some couples never even get to the altars, others tie the knot immediately, and some even get married without knowing their spouse. Is there a certain time to wait before you get married? That's what we're asking today. And my very first guest, she met her husband at church, as you should. And they were still teenagers at the time. They fell in love, parted ways, started dating again more than 4 years ago, and are now happily married. She's a fashion designer and the wife of the talented actor Motlatse Mafatse. Please welcome the gorgeous Millicent Mimi Ngakane. Hi, Mimi. Look fabulous. Obviously,
Thank you.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
So let's talk about love.
Let's.
So, first, you're dating an actor.
Yeah.
What's that like? Because it's like split personalities, right?
It's awkward, but it's like you get used to it, you know? It's just one of those things.
And you guys obviously met as little people.
We did. I met Mo when I was 18. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Still in high school. We were friends. And then we started dating. And yeah, it's been...
Well, most people date, and if they separate, you kind of go your separate ways, meet other people. What brought you back together?
I guess it's love. I feel like we've always been together. Even when we were apart, we still spoke. We spoke about everything. I mean, everything. So, and then eventually we got back together.
So he was basically your side dish your whole life. And then you were just like, this is my person. How did you know he was the one?
I've always known, hey? There's always that feeling every time. There's just always that feeling when I see him. And I guess maybe he also felt it as well. I always knew this is the guy I'm going to be with. I was just like, I used to pray to God. I'm just like, God, this is the guy.
And do you think it makes a difference meeting someone young and knowing them all your life and then marrying them?
It does.
Yeah.
It does. It's great to get like married to like someone you know, because then it makes things like, I guess it makes them easier.
Some people think then there's no element of surprise because it's like you know this person your whole life.
I guess if you guys love each other, there's always an element of surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, my next guest got off a plane from London and got married the same day after last seeing her lover 13 years before that. That's insane. Please welcome the lovely Celine van Niekerk. Welcome. Your story is incredible. Literally sounds like a film. So you dated this guy in university and then you moved to London and you were engaged. And then you broke off your engagement, flew back to South Africa and he proposed at the airport and you got married 2 hours later.
Yes.
Like, have you ever heard of anything like that? That's insane. How did you know it was the right decision to make?
Oh, I prayed about it a lot. And I still thought I had a lot of time. You know, I never thought anyone would just propose and there I get married on the same day. But I knew. I felt calm about it and I just deep down felt that I found a missing piece.
But 13 years is a long time. A lot happens in 13 years.
Yes.
How did you know he was still someone you loved?
I just had to trust God.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, needless to say, 10 years later, you're still married. Can we get a round of applause for that? Wow. That's amazing. How did you break up with the ex is what I'm interested in.
It wasn't easy, hey. But I think our story is a bit weird. You know, I started to dream about my current husband every night whilst I'm being engaged to a very nice guy. And I had to tell him, I'm really sorry, you know, but I have feelings for somebody that I didn't even know as long as I knew my current fiancé.
Yes.
I literally only knew him 6 months. We only dated 6 months when we were at uni. Yeah. And I just said, I'm sorry that I have to, you know I broke his heart, but today he's happily married with 2 kids. So I know things worked out the way it was supposed to.
And also your life took a complete turn, right? You would have been Celine living in London, married to a different man, and now you're back home with a little 8-year-old.
Yes.
That's amazing. What a beautiful, beautiful story. I've got lots of questions and I'm sure everyone else does as well. But let's meet my next guest. She's one of the brave women who entered the popular show Married at First Sight, where she lets other people choose her husband for her. I can't even imagine. Please welcome the very beautiful Clarissa Schoeman, now van Niekerk. Welcome. So,
Thank you.
Very brave. How does it work? I'm interested in knowing how it works. So you kind of give them a profile of the guy you're looking for?
Yes, well, it starts with the online application, which is about 50 questions. But it's not like yes or no. It's what do you want? What do you need? What are type of things that are deal breakers? And so you do that whole online thing. And then, afterwards they give you a call and say you're one of the shortlisted ones. And then you go through to workshops where you speak to the experts, where you go into more detail about what you're looking for. You have to be very blunt and very honest when you do these things. You can't be the nice person and be like, no, money doesn't matter. Like, you have to be very honest. So you go through that, and then there's another series of psychometric tests that you do, more, sexual health tests, financial tests, all those things. And then eventually, they call you up and they say, oh, just come to this nail bar. We're going to, come to Sorbet.
Come do your nails for your wedding.
We're just going to do your hair for you. And you're like, okay, that's cool. And then you sit down and they say, well, congratulations. We found you a match. You're getting married in 2 weeks. And you go, yay.
So you meet him at the altar.
You meet him at the altar. So you're in the dress, you're in the makeup, you know nothing about him, don't know his name, nothing. So the first time you see him is in front of the altar.
Take us through what that felt like, just walking down the aisle and there was your husband, seeing him for the first time. Did you like what you saw, firstly?
Well, you know what, the day of, I was very calm and relaxed. I'm very much a universe, like what you put out there comes back to you. And so I was like, you know what, I'm supposed to be here. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So walking down the aisle, I was pretty sure, what, I'm doing the right thing. And as I walked down, I just saw the smile of this man, and he was just not as tall as I expected, but he was, that smile was just amazing. You kind of just go, okay, you know what, I can do this.
And but why go this route and not the conventional way?
Well, I'm very old-fashioned when it comes to dating. I'm not the type of person that just goes on random dates or, do the dating apps and things.
You'd rather get married at first sight.
I'd rather just get married, no. So, no, for me it was more like, I feel in the generation that we are now, it's so easy just to date someone and move on to the next one. And I get so invested in relationships. So for me, it's not just, I'm not the dating type of person. So for me, and I was ready, I feel like I'm in a part of my life where everything else is settled and I'm happy with it. And that was the only thing that was missing. So.
Sure. Okay, so all happily in love, completely different ways of meeting the partners. I'm sure you guys have questions. Anyone?
So my question is for Clarissa. Clarissa, how did you feel when you first found out that your new surname would be Van Moerkerken?
Yeah, good one.
You can actually, I think they showed the episode, this week they were showing. So, but you can see my face, I kind of clutch out for a bit. I'm like, fun what? And he kind of stands next to me and he laughs. He's like, I'll explain later. So no, I went from Skuman to being Van Moerkerken. It was a big adjustment. And even afterwards, when you said the IDs, the priest asked you, do you want to keep your surname or do you want to take his? And I was like, no, I'm married to him now, so I'll take his surname. And he goes, wow, that's brave. I was just like, well, yeah, so.
Your family, marriage is, people get to know the person that you marrying.
Yeah.
And you don't know him, never mind your actual family. How did they take it?
Well, my mom was very apprehensive about the whole thing. She even, when I told her I was going to enter, she was like, just don't do it because you're going to get chosen. They're going to choose you. And I was just like, you know what? I feel like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I entered and they chose me. So she was I think she did have time, during the process to get used to it because the further I went into the process, the more excited I got. And I think she kind of felt like, you know what, Clarissa's going to do what she's going to do anyway. So she supported me full-heartedly with it. She was still a bit apprehensive because you want the best for your child.
Yeah.
But I've never been someone to do anything the conventional way. So at least I've prepared her for 30 years.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy, yeah.
And it doesn't work out for everyone. Why do you think it worked out for you?
I think me and Henny we managed our expectations quite well. I think if you go into it with this is what I want, exactly.
Yeah.
Like yes, you do say what you want, but you still have to be very open-minded with the process. And I trust the experts 110%. Like they know me better than I know myself. So I know if they did find me a match, that it would be someone that I could spend the rest of my life with.
So many questions happening in my head, but we have to take a quick ad break. But don't you go anywhere. Stay where you are. back now. Before the break, my guests and I discussed the way that they met their husbands. And I thought, let me bring Carissa into this. Let's see what she thinks. Carissa, come on through.
I can't even imagine.
I can't.
I cannot.
Because we think the conventional way of doing it is that you must date him for however many years.
Exactly.
Of course, he mustn't date you for too long because 10 years is too long.
I mean, you're waiting.
He better put a ring on it by then. What are your thoughts?
It's really interesting. I think my concept of marriage is being informed, you know, day by day. I am one of those new age kids that kind of met my partner on Tinder.
Okay.
So also quite unconventional. But marriage is a big word that I feel I'm not even old enough to say yet.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting it out. You guys are brave. You're so brave.
Right? I mean, for example, when you saw your husband, again, you got married 2 hours later, so you didn't have a wedding dress, you didn't have
Nothing.
anything.
Nope. I got married in a black and white dress.
But he had prearranged all of this, hadn't he?
Yes, but he booked a tiny little chapel. There was 2 people there that I never knew, and of course the pastor. And yeah, so I didn't have nice hair, nice makeup, nothing. You know, it's just like I got married.
But is that not the beauty then maybe of it? The fact that some people get married for the aesthetics of a wedding. And when you have something as simple, as beautiful as a celebration of love, it's kind of a reflection of the fact that you're not wearing this big dress with the hair done, you're just celebrating your love.
Yes.
Even though I think every girl still deserves a nice big gown and pretty makeup and nice hair.
Yeah, especially if your mom's a wedding photographer.
Yes, how does she feel?
She nearly died. She was like, I want to see my daughter in a wedding dress.
Yeah.
So we had to afterwards. Of course, my husband never met my family before the wedding. There was no time. So we sort of arranged to all go to Israel, and we all had this sort of family reunion where they met my husband.
Okay.
And I had to dress up for my fake wedding shoot.
Well, that's fine. At
Yeah,
least you've
my
got the
mom got
pictures.
her pictures.
Yeah, Mimi, your story is quite the opposite of that. Your parents, well, your mothers knew each other
Yes.
before you guys really
Yes.
even knew each other.
Yes.
Did that make it easier?
It did, because then I went in, you know, like I already knew my mother-in-law. So we can still talk till now. There was no, oh, this is your mother-in-law.
Yeah,
and
because
then we have to
then
start
there's the
from
mother-in-law
scratch.
war as well sometimes.
You know, so it just came naturally. It was just like, oh, she's one of us, you know.
And how were you accepted, Clarissa?
Oh, his family, I think they embraced the process from the beginning. So even on the wedding day, the first time I met them, like his dad actually had tears in his eyes. He was like, I can't believe, you know, like I've gained a daughter now, and they just embraced me from the beginning. So no, it was amazing. It was just, everything was as it was supposed to be.
But
So-
marriage is a huge step. And, you know, when you meet someone for the first time, or you meet someone you haven't seen in years versus someone you've known all of your life, how then do you decide what kind of a union it's gonna be legally? Because we forget about the importance of that. You know, is this something you kept in mind, anyone?
I didn't, and I married an advocate.
Oh, wow.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
So something just tells me it was true love. He didn't even think further. He was like, in community of property, that's it, you know, that's how we're getting married. And only later his friends were mocking him, you know, you're an advocate, how on
Yes,
earth can you
yes.
get married like that? And you don't have any prenuptials, nothing. And he was like,
Sure.
I'm never getting divorced.
No, you can't, ever.
No.
Consummation of the marriage.
Yes.
When did it happen?
You know what? It is actually the crew's fault, because they left us alone for.
Yes, tell
They
us
left
more.
us alone. So the next day we were at the venue and there was nothing to do. So I mean, we were watching movies and then it just happened.
It always starts like that.
Was it strange? Because I imagine, like, first you kiss,
Yeah.
and then...
Well, you kiss at the altar and so, but
Well, yeah.
you know, and yeah. So I mean, that night obviously we slept in the same bed, and I actually made a joke about it because I put pillows in between us as he went to the bedroom, to the bathroom, and as he came out, he was like, no. This is not going to work, and he
You're my
took them off.
wife.
Yeah. But no, that night was just sleeping. But I think with me and Henny, there was such an instant connection with each other, and by the end of the night, we were so comfortable with each other, and it just clearly we were a match. So I think it was by that point you had spoken about everything and why you entered and where we were, and so it happened naturally. It wasn't.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm sure everyone watching has like really strong opinions on the different ways in which our guests have met. So please do feel free to share it on our social media profiles. Ladies, thank you so much for being so open. I think it also, I think you'd agree, Carissa, opens up your eyes to the different ways in which you can meet the one, right?
Yes, so much. I've learned a lot. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, ladies. We've reached the part of the show where we introduce the performer for tonight. She's always dreamt of becoming a performer and started singing at the age of 6, songwriting at 12 and rapping at 19. And trust me, she's still going strong. Please welcome the immensely talented Rouge. Welcome.
Thank you.
You got a man. Very supportive man. Yeah, we're talking about love, how you meet your person.
Oh, this is how we started. Okay,
Yeah.
yes, I do. I do, very much so.
How'd you meet him?
Actually, varsity. Yeah, we were actually studying film together. And yeah, it's been 4 years going strong.
Oh, nice. When
Yeah.
is he putting a ring on it? Are you putting pressure?
Girl, I
Is
hope
it
you're
like-
watching the show.
Okay,
Wherever
there
you
go.
are. I hope so.
Let's
I
speak
hope
music.
so.
Of course, you've been active since like 2013.
Yes, I have.
What have been some of your biggest highlights?
Gosh, firstly, time when I thought nobody was paying attention to me, AKA calling me for the baddest remix.
Yes.
That is huge. Releasing my own album that just came out this year, which is incredible, doing that by myself and just really running it as an independent artist. Will forever be just my biggest highlight so far, that I'm actually doing this without any help.
That's amazing.
Relying on myself.
That's
yeah.
incredible. And the New Era Sessions has got like, it's like a movie, right?
Yes, it has a movie
Explain
as well.
that.
Yeah, it's not just music videos and stuff like that. Like this is a proper, there's a villain, there's a hero.
Okay.
I got Denise Zimba on it, Thando Thabethe on it, Fikile Kani. It's an incredible story that just talks about perseverance and how far will you go to become successful and be the person that you want to be in this world.
Females in hip hop are getting it so right now
Yes, yes.
in South Africa. What do you
Definitely.
think makes you stand out?
I think first the fact that I'm not relying on any male to put me on.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be a first lady.
Yes, girl, get it, get it.
Like this thing of first ladies for me, it's not a thing. I'm trying to be a boss. I'm trying to
Absolutely.
be, a boss in its entirety.
And
I'm trying
also,
to be the
it
boss of
can't be
myself.
a case of best female rapper.
No,
It needs to be best
exactly.
rapper,
I'm not
right?
limiting myself just to females. If you feel that I need to work hard in order to be the best rapper in general, I'm gonna work.
Well, you know you're one of my favorites.
Oh,
right?
thanks, Mama Thando. You always let me know.
Yeah. She's gonna perform her latest single titled "Don't It Feel Like Deja Vu."
Yes.
Get it, girl.
Shout out to Thando Thabethe for having me on the show. My name is Rouge. Peace out.